coffee break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including local power outages and closed roads due to high winds this morning. John Kovac joins us today with a look at the forecast, a Nutmeg Sports update, and later on a preview of our HAN network front pages. And later on, Donald Ang will join us to take a look back on this day in history. But first, high winds are causing problems around the area, like downed wires and power outages. Scattered power outages are being reported in many towns. New Canaan Advertiser posted a photo as police were blocking westbound traffic on Lakeview Avenue around 8:50 this morning as a tree limb was hanging on a wire. More recently, the Advertiser reported other roads had to be closed due to wires and tree limbs around 10 this morning, including Ponus Ridge Road was closed between Greenlee and Four Winds, Lakeview Avenue was closed between Summer and Millport, and West Road was closed in the area of Dan's Highway. Weston appears to be one of the hardest hit by power outages, with HAN's Weston Forum reporting that 2,554 customers in Weston were without power. That number represents 67% of the town. Foreign High School in Milford had a delayed opening due to power outages, and we're also hearing that Ridgefield schools, many are experiencing power outages, but you can follow up at theridgefieldpress.com, and we'll be hearing more about the forecast later with John. In other news, Milford police are investigating a report that a man tried to lure an 11-year-old student into a car on the way to school Tuesday morning. Police say the incident occurred on Tuesday around 7:30 in the morning on Baxter Lane near Applejack Lane in Milford. A man driving an early 2000s white BMW SUV with dice on the rearview mirror and flames on the rims tried luring an 11-year-old child into his vehicle while that child was walking to the bus stop. The man claimed to be a family friend and asked the child to open the rear hatch to the vehicle and grab an item that was inside. Instead, the child ran to a friend's house nearby and the man sped off toward New Haven Avenue. The man was described as white, between 25 to 30 years old, with brown blackish hair. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Milford Police Department at 203-878-6551. And Westport detectives are investigating the possible cause of an accident Saturday night that sent a car plunging into the Chilly-Saugatuck River, leaving one passenger dead. Hearst Connecticut media reports that police are considering the dark and rainy conditions and that the husband and wife in the car were from out of state and possibly lost among possible contributing factors, according to Westport Police Lieutenant David Farrell. The department believes that no foul play was involved, and the man, Richard Lamandola, died from drowning, according to the state chief medical examiner's office. The woman was rescued quickly through a joint firefighter, police, and EMS effort after diners at the Welk restaurant on Riverside Avenue heard screams for help from the river. She told rescuers her male companion was still in the water. 76-year-old Lamandola of Syosset, New York, and his wife were in the car that plummeted into the river from a state boat launch off of Elaine Road around 7 p.m. that night. And in other news, a West Haven man has allegedly admitted to Ansonia police that he robbed several gas stations at gunpoint a year ago. Ansonia police say 20-year-old Everald Davis robbed an Express Mart on Wakely Avenue and the Great Hill Shell Station in Ansonia within a week last March. Police said he held both up at gunpoint. Well, back on March 31st, 2016, Davis came into the Ansonia Police Department and allegedly confessed to the Express Mart robbery. He was arrested for that robbery but denied being involved in the Shell Station robbery. During subsequent interviews with Detective Sergeant Froelich, Davis admitted to robbing the Shell Station in Ansonia and 2 other robberies in West Haven. Detective Sergeant James Froelich obtained an arrest warrant charging Davis with that Shell Station robbery, and on February 27th, the arrest warrant was served to Davis at Derby Superior Court. He's currently incarcerated at Bridgeport Community Correctional Center. And in other news, a Darien man reacted to a loud noise in his garage, confronted an apparent burglar during the evening of February 21st. The 45-year-old resident told police he heard sounds coming from his garage as he sat in his living room on Pleasant Street at about 10:30 at night. When he entered the garage, he noticed the overhead light of his wife's car was on and more noises were coming from the driver's seat. He yelled at the apparent intruder and went back into the home, locking the door to the garage behind him. Officers arriving at the scene determined that the garage window had been opened from the outside and the screen was detached. The intruder had apparently entered and exited through the window and attempted to take a bike with him, but could only get the frame halfway out. The man reported that $50 in cash and an Easy Pass were missing from the vehicle. vehicle. Another abandoned bicycle was found near Post Road and Hollow Tree Ridge Road and brought back to police headquarters following a neighborhood canvass. And here's an unusual find. State police discovered a broken ATM machine behind businesses in Southbury this week. On March 1st, around 7:30 in the morning, police officers responded to the area of 1266 Main Street South in Southbury, where they located an ATM behind several businesses. State police detectives from the Western District Major Crime Squad responded to the scene and assumed that investigation. And anyone who thinks they may have any information regarding the recovered ATM is asked to contact them at 203-267-2200. But switching gears right now, happy to have John Kovach joining us today and taking a look at the forecast. John.
Kate, as you said, wind is the story as March is roaring in like a lion here on March 2nd. It'll be cooler in Fairfield County today, partly sunny skies. Temperatures in the mid-40s, but that's going to feel more like 35 given the wind chill. Very windy with steady breezes of 20 miles per hour. Gusts reaching 35 to 40 miles per hour. Clear skies overnight, and it gets even colder, heading into Friday morning with a low of 22. Cold and mostly cloudy tomorrow with an expected high only 39. Wind gusts between 20 and 25 miles per hour again, and there is a chance, Kate, for scattered snow showers during the day. We'll see clouds start to break up Friday afternoon before clear skies overnight. Expected low, don't put the comforter away, 17 as we get ready for a chilly weekend. Mostly sunny on Saturday, still colder as strong winds continues. Temperatures will be in the low to mid 20s during the day with wind gusts back around 40 miles per hour Saturday. Colder overnight Saturday, partly cloudy skies. Expected low, 10. But expect that to feel sub-zero given the wind, so you got that to look forward to. That's going to do it for weather. Back to you, Kate.
All right, John, and we should mention Ridgefield Public Schools are reporting that due to power outages, several schools are going to have an early release. Ridgefield High School getting out at 11:15, Scottsridge Middle School going to let out at 11:50, and Scotland Elementary School at 12:25 p.m., that being caused by those power outages. But we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, Donald Lang takes a look back on this day in history. John has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news coming up after this.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars. Wow. Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
It's all about meeting goals this year, and Trinity CrossFit of Ridgefield has experienced trainers, top-of-the-line equipment, and a newly renovated space to help get you there. Offering more classes per day than any other CrossFit gyms in the area, we cater to all fitness levels. Our coaches have a combined 10 years of experience in CrossFit, and as competitors themselves, Trinity coaches can get you ready for competition in 2017. Visit our convenient location on Route 7, Danbury Road, or find out more at trinitycrossfit.com.
Whether you're looking for the freshest seafood, the perfect steak, or want to share delicious appetizers, look no further than the Stone's Throw in Seymour. Chef Peter Hom has more than 30 years of experience creating original recipes in his American eclectic style. Our dishes are made from scratch with fresh, local ingredients that pair perfectly with a seasonal craft beer, a signature cocktail, or your favorite wine. When you visit our Riverside location, you'll feel like you're on vacation when you're only a stone's throw from home. Visit us on Roosevelt Drive in Seymour or at stonesthrowct.com. At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to this March 2nd edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and it's time to throw it over to Donald Ang to take a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, Kate, it was the older folks leading the technical revolution here, but first we're going to go back to 1815 for the signing of the Kandyan Convention Treaty by the British and the leaders of the area of modern-day Sri Lanka. Now, under the Kandyan Convention, King Sri Vikrama Majashinha abdicated, bringing an end to the Kingdom of Kandy. Now, the event's not actually all that's historically significant. I just really liked saying Kingdom of Kandy. I mean, think about it. There's actually more, though. The convention was signed in a place, I swear I'm not making this up, called the Temple of the Tooth in the Kingdom of Kandy. Not joking. Look it up. To 1917, we go. 100 years ago, the Jones-Shafferth Act grants Puerto Ricans U.S. citizenship, and also sets up a parallel government with 3 separate branches mirroring the U.S. government. Individual Puerto Ricans were allowed 6 months to reject their new status as U.S. citizens, but of the 1.2 million people living on the island, only 288 rejected being U.S. citizens. To 1962, Wilt Chamberlain of the Philadelphia Warriors sets the single-game scoring record in the NBA by scoring 100 points against the New York Knicks in a game played at the old Hershey Park Arena. The Warriors won the game 169-147 before an announced crowd of just over 4,000. Talk about how long ago this was in the NBA. There was no video footage of the game and only sporadic audio from the fourth quarter. There also was no New York media present at the game. The Warriors would move to San Francisco the following year and become the Golden State Warriors in 1972. Finally, now we go to 1983 for this.
CD is just the best thing that's happened to hi-fi for years. For the first time, people can sit at home and hear sound very close to the way we intended them to hear it from the studio. And it's great for professionals as well, because I can listen to other people's records. I mean, I can play a CD here in the studio and see what other people are up to. So it's not only for people at home, it's for professionals as well. And if professionals are using it, then that's a fair assumption that it really is something quite special.
That was producer and Dr. Evil accomplice Alan Parsons explaining the benefits of the compact disc, released for the first time on this day, in North America at least, 1983, previously available only in Japan. Unusually, it was the older music lovers that were the first adopters of the technology for a couple of reasons. One, the players were very expensive, and two, the classical music libraries were among the first to be released and benefited most from the increased clarity. That is your look back in history for today, March 2nd, and I'm Donald Ng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, Skateland in Stratford is not coming back. The Stratford Zoning Commission unanimously approved a 9-unit condominium complex in Lordship at the site of the former roller skating rink during its February 28th meeting. The former Long Beach Skateland is in dilapidated condition and will be demolished, said the developer's attorney, Barry Knott. The former skating rink, previously owned by Bill and Veronica Fellows, was closed following extensive damage by Hurricane Irene and then Superstorm Sandy. The new condo building will have less of a footprint than the skating rink structure. The proposed complex at 55 Washington Parkway, close to the seawall, will have 20 parking spaces, 18 underneath the building for residents, plus 2 non-covered spots for visitors. The building will be 43 feet high when including the underneath parking. Now, each 3-level condo unit will have 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a top floor den and deck. The townhouse-style complex will have a staggered facade to give it a unique architectural design, but you can get a lot more on that story at stratfordstar.com. John, I had a lot of good childhood memories at Skateland, so kind of sad to see it go.
I wondered if you had been there. So, because that's been closed for a while.
For a long time, yeah.
But it seemed like it was such a vibrant hub of the community for a while.
But you know, that area is not that developed down there, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of comes in the next few years. So
very much so.
Yeah. But John, let's get Nutmeg Sports Update.
Well, we're talking about rinks. Last night, the HAN network was at the Terry Connors rink in Stamford for the FCAC boys ice hockey semifinals. Ridgefield, New Canaan, Greenwich, and the Stamford West Hill Co-op all in the Final Four, all with hopes of playing in Saturday's FCAC championship game. In the first semifinal, it was top-seeded Ridgefield, who prevailed as the Tigers rolled to a 3-0 shutout. What was a goalie duel for most of the night, Ridgefield's Sean Keegans won this match against Christian Campolataro of the Stamford West Hill Co-op. Mateo Van Wees, Jonas Chang, and Matt Walker scored for Ridgefield as the Tigers won their 12th straight FCAC game and advanced to the 9th championship game in the program's history. Here are some of the highlights.
Big checks in the corners. Rister from the point coming here. Campolataro, the first save, and they score! It's going to be the Teo Van Wees off a rebound, and with 9:03 remaining in the first period, the Tigers strike first. Here's Stafford with it. Fujitani again, the wrister, and he scores! He wanted it right back, and he let a ripper go. Up high over the glove of Campolataro.
Good save by Campolataro.
As the turnaround and the rebound scores! The cross-ice pass broke the zone. The initial attempt from Forrest was stopped, waiting on the back door of the extra man. It was Matty Walker. The winner will face the Ridgefield Tigers in the FCAC Championship as they finish off a 3-0 win over number 4 Stamford West Hill.
Game number 2 featured defending conference champion Greenwich versus 18-time champion New Canaan. What was a tightly contested game through the first 2 periods quickly saw the doors blown off as the Rams cruised to a 7-2 victory courtesy of 4 third-period goals. Tyler Hill scored the game's first 2 goals, and 5 different Rams got in on the scoring, including Teddy Hood, who scored from center ice in the third period, and Ryan Hart, who tallied another goal just 13 seconds later. Let's look at the top plays from New Canaan's semifinal win.
Tyler Hill, as he looks to come back the other way. Cut inside of right. Hill back to the middle, lets a wrister go, and he scores! To the back door, McMahon looking for Hill, it's poked around and scores! It's Tyler Hill again. Lawrence who came away with it. Lawrence working down the left wing, goes to the backhand, hesitates for a moment, pass out in front and they score! Might have. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Kevin. As McMahon had an opportunity in the slot. Hill to turn around. The rebound. Score! It's the senior transfer, Anton Adding. And the Rams are up 3-1. Teddy Hood takes that one and sends one that skips in on Presley and scores! Rams taking penalties at bad times as the puck here for Arnone off the post and scores.
On Saturday, what intrigues me, Ridgefield's handed New Canaan its only FCAC loss. They've beaten them twice. Tough to beat a team 3 times in the same season.
It'll be Ridgefield and New Canaan Saturday at 2:30 at the Terry Connors rink for the FCAC Boys Ice Hockey Championship. We'll be coming to you at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon to get you ready for the big matchup. And don't forget, tonight is the boys basketball final in the FCAC. Number 3 Ridgefield, number 5 Wilton, Scheduled tip-off at 7 p.m. from Fairfield University's Alumni Hall. The HAN Network's coverage begins at 6:30. We'll have a full preview of tonight's championship game for you at 2 o'clock this afternoon on Nutmeg Sports. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Back to you, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, John. Well, in other local news, Trumbull First Selectman Tim Herbst is warning department heads to brace for potentially devastating budget cuts if the state follows through on Governor Daniel Malloy's proposal to strip millions of dollars in state funding from suburban towns. The proposed reductions in the form of eliminating the town's education grant and requiring the town to assume about 1/3 of the cost of teacher pensions could top $6 million. Closing that funding gap would require a tax hike of about 6%, according to Herbst. In a memo to all town employees last week, he said he asked all department heads to submit contingency budget proposals for next year. The plans are to show the effect of a 5% reduction from current levels and a 10% reduction. Herbst also requested a breakdown of the effect of $3.4 million cut would have on the school budget. Herbst predicted that the effects of such cuts in town departments would likely include furlough days for town employees, reductions or elimination of senior tax relief and leaf pickup programs, and a reduction in library services and operating hours. And in other news, recently retired Darien Police Chief Dwayne Lavello confirmed to the Darien Times this week that he's taken a position at the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority. Lavello is welcomed by former Town of Darien Administrator Carl Kilduff, who took the job of an executive director of CHFA 2 years ago after working in Darien for 8 years. Lavello retired from the Darien Police Department on February 15th after a 3-decade career. He told the Darien Times he serves as manager of the multifamily portfolio security. Kilduff said as part of his efforts to build on the impact of CHFA's financing and developments, they're working on a number of fronts to enhance asset management of properties and address resident engagement, services, and security. But there's more on that story at DarienTimes.com. And in Milford, the performance of Love Letters, postponed due to a snowstorm, will take place on Sunday, March 5th at 2 at the Milford Public Library. Milford alderman and actor Frank Smith and his wife Diane will perform Love Letters by A.R. Gurney. The free performance, sponsored by the Friends of the Milford Library, is open to all. Doors open at 1:30 p.m. and tickets are not required. I'm hoping Frank looks more interested in Love Letters than he does in that meeting photo,
I would recommend that, yes.
But I understand those meetings can be rough. But there's more on that at milfordmirror.com. We're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, me and John are going to preview our HAN Network front pages this week after this.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, InSports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign your child up now for InSports Future Stars Basketball Academy, teaching skills on the basketball court for boys and girls ages 5 through 9. Visit InSportsCenters.com for more information on this 7-week program. And for adults, spots are also still available for our men's 30 and over and 40 and over leagues. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with one of the largest inventories of new 2- and 4-door Wranglers. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Browse our websites, scapchryslerjeep.com or scapdodge.net to find the new Jeep, Chrysler Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck you've been looking for. Just 2 miles from both I-95 or the Merritt Parkway exit 44. Save thousands at the President's Day event and Ram Truck Month, now through February 28th.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ing for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Thursday, where we bring you all the top stories from Connecticut sports.
From highlights to player interviews and expert analysis, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, now Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to this Thursday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Kate Czaplinski with John Kovach previewing the front pages of our papers this week. John, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at Wilton, where the Board of Selectmen has put forth a proposed budget with a 3% increase, but the bulletin says that's not expected to stand, so we will see where that goes. Tree trimming going on in Wilton as they attempt to avoid the power outages like we're seeing today with the high winds. A big turnout for a sewer referral. This one I'm kind of interested in that they're building connected habitats to create ways for birds and bees and pollinate, for pollination to keep going through development. And of course, word on tonight's scheduled basketball game between Wilton and Ridgefield at Alumni Hall in Fairfield for the FCAC title. You, Kate?
Awesome. All right, well, I'm taking a look at the Stratford Star. Now, Joe Paul is planning to run again for mayor in Stratford. That zoning commissioner is the second Democrat to declare for the town's highest office. Also in Stratford, no school budget proposal yet. Questions and frustration come with the second spending plan option. U.S. Senator Chris Murphy visited Wilcoxon Elementary School recently, thanking students for participating in his Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Essay Challenge. And as we mentioned earlier, the Stratford Skateland roller rink to be torn down to make way for some condos in the Lordship area of town, and developer makes changes in his Ferry Boulevard plan.
Story in Trumbull, Kate, that you just brought us, and that is department heads planning for the worst as municipalities such as Trumbull try to deal with state cuts and their effects on the upcoming budgets. Memories of Ernest Fez, and I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, and I apologize. Civic leader, philanthropist, did a lot for a lot of charities, passed away at the age of 84. Paul Lavoie is forming an exploratory committee, so he may be running for town office in Trumbull. And a story from last Friday, that motor vehicle crash that led with a man who had a gun in his possession, fleeing it, being chased down by police. All that in the Trumbull Times.
All right, taking a look at the Weston Forum, something we talked about this week on Coffee Break, but police seeking help in a Georgetown bank robbery. They suspect that robber was possibly involved in another robbery in Fairfield. He was wearing a mask, and there's more information on that in the Weston Forum. Also, stories of local patriots, a World War II exhibit being held at the Weston Historical Society. DOT making some strides on work on Route 57 thanks to a somewhat mild winter, and we have some Weston High School scholarship finalists. Congratulations to them.
There's a lot of construction going on in Milford, as you can see on the cover of the Milford Mirror. Work at Point Lookout is expected to stabilize a slope there. Expansion of the Boys and Girls Campus. Neighbors and a cemetery butting heads a little bit as the Cemetery Association defends its work, but neighbors are not happy about a wall that was built and the completion of stained glass window repairs. These windows, Kate, date back to 1893, and that's at Mary Taylor United Methodist Church in downtown Milford. Did a story on the people who do that stained glass window replacement and reletting.
beautiful.
Fascinating job and just
Yeah.
beautiful work.
Really interesting. All right, well, taking a look at the front page of the Shelton Herald, Spooner House fundraising to restock its shelves. They help so many area organizations and feed so many people in the area, so definitely check that out this week. A Shelton man arrested for his part in a fatal drug overdose. Also long overdue and exciting, the Shelton City website getting a new look, being revamped there. Also talks about more apartments potentially moving in to Shelton. And the Shelton robotics team raising money for the World Championship. Shelton has a very long history of a very successful robotics team, so excited for them. John?
New Canaan is exploring natural gas as a means of fuel. There's a gas pipeline that goes through New Canaan, so this has been discussed for decades. Part of this discussion is the removal from the budget proposal from the Board of Education of money for propane tanks, the continuing saga of the historic burial ground, how much is there on the site of the proposed Merritt Village apartment complex. Born Yesterday, a political comedy being staged by the town players of New Canaan. Story you brought us, I believe, yesterday on Coffee Break, and that was the encounter between a coyote and a pet dog in New Canaan, and chickens at the New Canaan Nature Center enjoying the opportunity to run around without being, I guess, chickens have ankles ankle deep in snowless.
Do they have ankles? All
I
right.
don't know.
Well,
Great
taking
question.
a look at the Ridgefield Press, the Board of Ed approving a budget increase, but school start time discussion still looming large. Many people asking that Ridgefield High push back its start times, particularly since the town's so large, and for some students they have to wake up very early to get to school on time. Also a photo from a recent event at the rec center where a Gila monster was a special guest, and an interesting story about ladybug infestations. This time of year you're starting to see a lot of it, but this talking to a wildlife in crisis staff member, basically saying ladybugs are harmless, so if you find them, you can leave them there. And you know, it is rumored to be bad luck to kill them. So interesting story there. $4 million for teacher pensions, some discussion about that. State seeking to balance Main Street interests and possible redevelopment there. And a local resident creating welcome signs for refugee families in Ridgefield.
So I'll hold off on the killer ladybug jokes, I guess. In Easton, there's a lot going on with the schools as this budget season rolls on. And the proposed Barlow budget would eliminate 2 teachers from the high school there. A study aims to focus more on the future of the school as the enrollment decline going on now could level off. The decision that a garage is not required for a school bus depot, that they're looking for a site there in the Reading Easton area. The new librarian shares her love of reading, and planning and zoning in Easton nearing a formal vote on the Saddle Ridge proposal that's been debated for some time. And a good season for the Joel Barlow cheerleaders, and they will be in the state finals on Saturday in New Haven.
Right, great. Well, taking a look at the Reading pilot, those cheerleaders also recognized on the front page this week. And a tense Board of Finance meeting in Reading suggests conflict over the school budget. A story we talked about on Coffee Break, a Louisiana horse abandoned in Reading could really use some help. A local barn owner is trying to raise some money on a GoFundMe page to pay for those medical expenses of that abandoned horse. And some similar news as we saw in the Easton Courier, 2 teachers eliminated under the Barlow budget.
In the last of our main papers that I'll look at, oh, I am wrong. Park and Rec in Darien is reviewing the parks and beaches there as they come up with a parks master plan. The representative town meeting approved lights at Darien High School's football field and the purchase of open space from the Oxbridge Hunt Club. A local charity is seeking underwear donations as part of Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras, I like that name.
I do too. State Senators Bob Duff and Carlo Leone stopped in Darien to speak with special education parents. And an interesting shot of the Reverend David Anderson of St. Luke's Church administering ashes on Ash Wednesday on the platform at the Norotan Heights Railroad Station.
All right, very cool. We'll take a look at the Monroe Courier. The Edith Wheeler Library is celebrating its 10th anniversary, so there's a lot of events going on there. More bowing out of meetings. State Senator Marilyn Moore will not be attending Monroe's public budget meeting with her fellow representatives. More on that story in the Monroe Courier. Town Council reduces budget by 9.59%. The Center for Family Justice will be honoring Monroe's Chief of Police. And Lee Hostler named an outstanding citizen in Monroe, so congratulations to him.
In our arts and leisure section, the twins, Judy and Joy, cook up a spring treat that their grandmother taught them. And if you want to write a movie, a feature there tells you how you might be able to do it.
All right, very cool. And John, I know we have Yankee Fisherman coming up at 1 o'clock today.
Spring is near. It's about fishing season. We are going to tie some small and simple flies for use on local streams, and this ties into an event that's coming up in Fairfield on Saturday, March 11th. We'll have more on Yankee Fisherman at 1.
All right, cool. And Nutmeg Sports coming up at 2 o'clock. And then tonight, the big game, Ridgefield and Wilton in the FCI Boys Basketball Championship. Our coverage starts at 6:30. We won't be here tomorrow for your coffee break, but you can watch the Boys Ice Hockey FCI Championships Saturday. I believe that starts at 2:30.
2 o'clock pregame, 2:30 the puck drop.
All right, awesome. All right, so we will see you for your coffee break Monday at 11. Have a great day.